He's throwing her under the bus. Chad Daybell fighting for his life, trying to get death taken off the table. And in doing so, saying, you know what? It was all Lori. It was everything. I was just here. She manipulated me. I had no self control whatsoever. Essentially, is kind of the argument that's going on here. To dissect all of this, Susan Constantine, body language expert. We've seen a lot from these two over the years. Chad now kind of having a whole new, I guess, aura about him, if you will. Now that we know his true feelings about Lori Vallow Daybell, I'm interested to talk about. I wonder how she's reacting to this. But what are your thoughts on these latest developments?
Oh, I think it was predictable
Yeah.
because all along I thought there's no way. He's going to figure out everything that she's going to say and she's going to protect him, make him look really good. It was a setup,
Hmm.
right? It was a setup. So that when he comes in for his trial, because they're going to stand together, they're going to, they're not going to leave one another. And it was obvious to me, and I think a lot of other people, is that he was intending to throw her under the bus. So I'm sure that Lori Vallow is kind of vallowing or wallowing in her self pity
Yeah.
in, in that jail cell or prison cell because I don't think that she thought for 1 minute that she was going to be betrayed by him. But, when it comes right down to it, and he wants out, and he's going to use whatever he can for leverage, and also his attorneys are.
Yeah.
Is it, it's kind of like the Casey Anthony trial, right? So they used dad as the fall guy.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Without
and he was innocent.
it's I was surprised, not surprised, because you never know what's going to happen in a case like this. I was frankly a bit surprised that during the Lori Vallow trial that she didn't take that angle. She had the first shot, she had the first opportunity to do so, but went out of her way, even getting upset at her attorneys when they actually did try and throw him a little bit under the bus in some of those closing arguments for lack of any sort of defense on her part. Uh, I'm just wondering, if you're Lori Vallow now, this I would think would completely shatter your world and your belief system. Is this something that you think having that sort of impact on her, or is she so far gone in her world that maybe she's finding a way to justify this, and this is somehow also part of God's will, or whatever nonsense she has in her mind?
You know, we're trying to think about how she would feel in with normal people,
Yeah.
people that have empathy and feelings and that are grounded. But this is a person who has been controlled by Chad Daybell, bought into the whole cult belief and zombies and all of that stuff. And we know that just by listening to um, her statement at the very end. I mean, in the wavering of her voice, and she just believed this crap, right? Well,
Mhm.
she is so indoctrinated into Chad Daybell's cult belief that I think that at this point in time, it's going to be like a huge, big wave of awakening for her that she has been deceived
Mhm.
by him and betrayed by him. And I hope that she retaliates and then she does then testify against him and then comes clean. Wouldn't that be good? Wouldn't that be great for
Yeah.
her to take the stand and then say, "Well, you threw me under the bus and you abandoned me. Now, guess what? I'm going to tell them what really happened."
Do you think she's capable of taking the stand? I mean, do you think she's competent to do that? I could see that going either really good, or really, really off the rails and really, really bad. I don't see anywhere of just like kind of healthy middle there.
Yeah, it's anytime that where this is involving children and in such a horrible, horrific way it was done that I would never advise an attorney to put that person on the stand.
Mhm.
But he is a guy that's been able to talk his way out of everything. I mean, he really is highly narcissistic. He's detached from reality, but yet he is very cunning. So I think that he could. I think that, but he doesn't show the right form of empathy or compassion or concern. I'm not sure that that level of narcissism and that he was able to carry out such a horrible thing is going to be able to perform. And that's what he would be doing, is
Yeah.
perform
Yeah.
in front of that jury, and that the jury would not call BS on it.
Sure. I mean, when you look at the argument here saying now in these documents, trying to get the death penalty removed, which I think is going to be a win if they're able to do that for Chad Daybell. I think it's probably the only goal at this moment in time, saying that she manipulated Chad through emotional and sexual control. Uh, is that also kind of implying that he was part of these murders? I mean, just if you're insinuating that Lori manipulated you through all of these things, well, what did she manipulate you to do? That you were manipulated by or for? And if you're then going to go argue and say not guilty, um, isn't that in a way almost admitting your own guilt by saying, making that sort of a statement?
Yeah, and you know what? Everybody, if you get them talking long enough, they're going to hang themselves, and that's
Mhm.
exactly what's happened. So, in other words, he's left the impression that, well, if you want to take that angle, that she has been such a seductress, that she isn't, some sort of Aphrodite, that she's
Yeah.
been able to be a seducer. That is that really, was that really the reason why he carried out these acts? And it's not me. But then through that, it's like saying, I admit that I did this, but it was only because she seduced me.
Mhm.
She's the one that sexually seduced me. And I was so taken by her beauty, and it was an aphrodisiac, or, it was, whatever it is, it doesn't make any difference, because it's no different than saying, well, I didn't mean to kill those people, but I was drunk and I was under the influence of cocaine.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
Excuse my language. Like,
exactly.
you killed them.
I don't see the argument being very strong of, well, did you kill them? Well, I did, but it was for sex. So, I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, that kind of seems to be what this argument is, to get death
Yeah.
taken off the table. And like, we kind of knew that already, Chad, that you were smitten with her to such an extreme. When you do look at this, though, trying to figure out who is more culpable at this, obviously, both have been involved in this conspiracy. But when we're talking about who is the ringleader, is it Lori or is it Chad?
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if I can say that it was Chad or Lori, because I don't really have enough evidence to say one way or the other. Because when you look at Lori's um, ex-husband was killed. All right,
Mhm.
who would want them both dead? They both might.
Yeah,
Who would want the brother-in-law dead? Right, and the wife.
yeah.
Who would want these dead? They both would want. I think there's what, there four of them are dead.
I've
How
lost
many are dead?
track.
Three.
at
Oh no,
least
I think
at
there's four
least
that are
four. I
dead.
think there's possibly more that if you count
Yeah.
Alex in there too, and you count there's some others in the mix. But yeah,
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 or something like that.
yeah,
So, and they're from both sides. It's almost like they wanted to annihilate
yeah,
sides of the family so that they could start over.
hmm, yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah,
I think that initially, I think that Chad was the one that um, indoctrinated her into this other world and the whole zombie thing. And I think that she fell for it. And then he consistently, gave her this different narrative that wasn't really true, and I think she bought into it. Then I think that's when she got into it. That's why I think that's kind of, but the origination of it is, I think, Chad in his false teaching. He's a false prophet.
yeah.
Look at, we see this, what, the Waco case, right?
Mhm.
The Jones case, we've seen so many of these cult leaders. How could they persuade so many people to do such horrible, heinous things?
Mhm.
It's shocking to me that how much control and how easily you can get controlled by mind manipulation.
Yeah. It really is, and this is, I think one of the most extreme examples of it. I mean, it makes you do wonder, had they not been stopped, had they not killed their children, would this have turned into a bigger cult had those events not taken place? I don't know. it's a scary one to watch, but with this new development, we just went down a whole different road. So we'll see where this rabbit hole takes us.
Yeah, it gets crazier and crazier. Every day you wake up and there's another new case, and it's like, it's almost like unspeakable. It's incomprehensible. It's what, I tend to go, my head kind of goes with what's happening
Yeah.
to our world and what's happening to the society. What is happening and where's it coming from? Where's the stem? Where's the root?
Mhm.
How do we get this thing under control? Because we have a massive, massive mental health crisis in this world.
Hey, it's Tony Brueski. If you want more of our interview with our guests, be sure to check out our podcast, Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Just search that wherever you download podcasts and press subscribe. Also, you can check out our YouTube channel for the full video version of the interviews as well, under the same name, Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski. Check it out, subscribe, binge, and enjoy. Thanks for watching.